What's up you guys, Gongrongzong here. So recently, a certain very big Division 2 YouTuber came up with a video titled The Division 2 Why Damage to Elite Sucks for Solo Players. Now, I'm going to fundamentally disagree with this title. He does put forth a few valid points. I'll encourage you to check the video out and give him a subscribe. He does very good Division 2 content. But for this specific video, he kind of assumes that solo players do challenge missions as their primary form of content, which is both stupid and insulting. Challenge missions, after all, are the easiest form of endgame content. You can literally blow through them with any kind of endgame build. But regardless, I want to use it as a teaching point for you guys to showcase the opposite. I feel that damage to elites is the most important talent, especially for solo players. I'm going to present to you 3 reasons why this is so, with the third being the most crucial of all, so make sure you watch until then. For those of you guys that are just hitting the end game, congratulations, but I also want you to ask yourself this question. When was the last time you got killed by a purple mob? I don't know, I can't remember. Now, when was the last time you got killed by a yellow mob? 5 freaking minutes ago. And that's my entire point. Yellow mobs are way more dangerous than purple mobs and only add to the importance of the damage to elite talent. Purples don't do as much damage as yellows, plus their AI isn't as aggressive as yellow mobs, which has been a recurring issue on Reddit over the past few days, that the yellow AI simply face rushes you and there's nothing much you can do about it. Plus, not just yellow mobs, but named mobs have a crap ton of life. There is little that we can do when a named mob rushes us. So not only are they way more dangerous and more difficult to kill, but the way Massive operates in its difficulty scaling would also lend further credence to the fact that damage to elites is extremely important. As you level up your control points, for example, from level 1 to 2 to 3 to 4, when you reach level 4, all of the mobs guarding and later attacking that control point turn into yellow mobs. Every single one of them. This is the same situation when you do bounties. When you do normal difficulty bounties, perhaps there could be a purple mob here and there. But once you go up to challenging or even heroic bounties, waves of yellow mobs will consistently spawn. This is also the same deal for strongholds. As you increase the difficulty, more and more yellow mobs come into the picture. If we judge the difficulty of the game based on this pattern, which seems to be pretty reliable, next week when World Tier 5 comes around and heroic difficulty comes around for the entire world, there will just be even more yellow and named mobs, lending even more importance to the damage to elites talent. So hold on, at this point you may be asking, so does this mean that for my gear sets I should be prioritizing the hard-hitting talent over everything else? No, not necessarily. That is not what I meant. There are many viable builds out there that do very well without stacking the damage to elite talent. However, this segues very nicely into my third and most important point. A lot of times these content creators on YouTube or on stream, they forget how much they play and how well versed they are at the game as compared to the normal everyday players who don't have 10 hours a day to play the game. They come up with all these amazing videos about builds and guides and what build you should do if, for example, you want to go for an LMG or an SMG and so forth. You should get 60% critical hit chance, or you should get this talent, or you should do this and do that. But that is the crux of the matter. They are telling you what to do, but they are not telling you how to do it. How do you actually reach that stage where you could have this OP endgame build? How do you actually farm the gear to get that 60% critical hit chance? How do you actually consistently and efficiently farm those strongholds or missions or control points in order to get the gear to drop in the first place? This is a concern among the player base because we do see a lot of players hitting World Tier 4 over the past week and they are basically struggling to handle the content. There is a large difficulty spike in the content, make no mistake about it, and it doesn't help at all to have a title such as Why Elite Damage Sucks for Solo Players. The secret of the how do you get there, how do you reach the eventual goal, lies in the damage to elite's talent. The damage to elites talent is very common and appears on all 6 of your gear slots. You will see it very commonly drop as you do more and more of the content. And that, the damage to elites talent, the hard-hitting talent, is your basic building block of how you manage to get a step up against all these elite mobs and then go and farm your desired sets. For myself even, that was how I was able to cope with the endgame very smoothly and very easily. I didn't overcomplicate my build, all I did was stack as many hard-hitting talents as possible. And even for my own personal sharpshooter build, I am stacking 6 damage to elite talents, and I am primarily a solo player. And that is why the damage to elite's talent does not suck in any way for solo players, but is what I would say in fact the most important talent. Again, it might not be the BIS talent for the set that you are going for, but it is the most important talent because it is what will help you find your legs at the start of the endgame. It is what will help you conquer those control points as you move up from level 1 to level 2 to level 3 to level 4. It is not stacking that critical hit chance that depends so much upon this other weapon talent that you don't have yet. It's not about getting these gear sets that depend upon these specific set of attributes in order for it to be optimal. No, the easiest and simplest way to go about doing it is stacking the damage to elite talent. Trust me on this, mobs will literally start to melt before your eyes regardless of what weapon or build you're currently going for. Now, do I agree with this from a design philosophy? Not necessarily. Talents should be balanced so that they're competitive with one another. Right now, some come out far ahead. As I've shown you guys before, I'm stacking 6 damage to elite talents and an overwhelming amount of damage to elite's attributes and weapon mods. And I am absolutely shredding the endgame, being fully capable of soloing level 4 control points with no deaths and challenge strongholds with no deaths. But it's still very early in the game. The game has been out for 2 weeks now? And we all know that World Tier 4 wasn't truly balanced for the endgame. There are higher levels of difficulty to look forward to, there are the raids to look forward to, and there are many more gear sets and even more specializations to look forward to, which I am super excited about. The many talents that you see now in-game will be able to find their own places and niche within these new gear sets or these new specializations. But as of now, the hard-hitting talent I would have to say, above and beyond, is the most important talent by far for solo play or group play. If you want to take on the hardest form of content in the game, barring skill-based builds, you will need to heavily consider the damage to elite stat. If there's just one takeaway that you got from this video, it's this. If you're in the midst of gearing up, go for the damage to elite's talent. It is the simplest and easiest decision you could ever make in terms of gearing in this game. If you're already at the end game, still consider and very heavily consider the damage to elite stat and talent. I can't tell you with a mathematical calculator whether it's going to be absolutely better than your headshot damage or weapon damage and so on and so forth. But I can tell you from my own personal experience in playing the game that it is the go-to talent for right now and probably in the very near future. So, if this video interested you, make sure you check out my other guides on the sharpshooter class that I've done so far. I go really in-depth into all the weapons, the mods, the gear sets, the skills, and everything that will make you the best sharpshooter in the Division 2. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in DC.